Hey guys, welcome back. All right, this will be part number 7 of the RAT course. So in this video session, we're going to be discussing and doing a bit of programming on form cloning. So being able to clone different forms. So let me go ahead and open up a private Firefox window here. And we're going to go to Spynet Rat. Let's look for Spynet Rat. I'm just going to show you a picture here, if I can. So, let me look around here, boys. So this image is a bit blurry on this video, but I just wanted to show you guys. You see how this particular rat, Spynet Rat, it's written in Delphi, by the way, with some old ass sockets called Indy9, but the thing is, these are all webcams open at the same time, okay, on different clients, right? And so are these. And you can do the same with every single window or form in the entire application, even for the passwords that he's currently looking at. So I'm going to teach you guys how to accomplish this. It's actually really super easy, super simple. And we're going to be accomplishing that today, and then we're also going to program the Remote Task Manager as well. So let me close this window, as we won't be needing it. So to get started, we need to just go ahead and start working probably on the server endpoint. So let's make sure you're on your server. Make sure you have your server and your client open in Delphi and ready to roll, okay? So on the server side, let's go to our code window, our code editor, and scroll all the way to the top. So we are going to have to include the Remote Task Manager form in our uses so that we can make calls to that form. This is the Remote Task Manager, which is right here, that we designed in an earlier phase of this these sessions here, the RAT course. So let's go ahead and add that in. So put a comma after the last uses clause statement, and we're going to add in Remote Task Manager, just like that, okay? So now that we have the ability to make calls to VCL form objects on that form, we can proceed. So since we have that, what we'll do next is we're going to edit this form style. Okay, so we have a bunch of stuff to add in here because I don't want to just leave it at process name because that would be really cheapy and cheesy. So let's go ahead and go to columns editor, and we're going to add probably 7 more things. So we select all 7 of these, and we'll auto size them. The first one will be ID. This one could be, for example, status. This one could be something else, username of the person who ran the darn thing. Maybe we can do, or it'll be the username that that process is currently running under. And then we'll do CPU usage. For this, we'll do memory or something, the used memory. For this one, we can do, I don't know, UAC status. I think that one will be fine. And then this one can just be the description. I don't care if I misspell stuff. So there you have it. There's that. And we're going to drag this a little bit so that we can see all of those fields, okay? Make sure your anchors are true, 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 true on top, left, right, and bottom. We're going to drag this out just a little bit better there. And there you have it. Okay, that's looking much better than it was before. Now, we're going to have to start programming a little bit of stuff on the main servers unit, so unit 1. So let's pop down to where we have all of our public declarations right here, our public variables, if you will. So we're going to have to add one more after these. So let's try to do this. I'll try to make this as simple as I possibly can for you guys so you'll understand. We're going to be making it to where if you have multiple clients connected to your server, you'll be able to open like more forms. So like if there's 3 people, then you'll be able to open 3 different task managers. Each task manager will be assigned to its own client. You see? Pretty cool stuff, right? So in order to do that, we're going to have to create a clonable form. And to do that, we're going to take advantage of something in the Delphi Pascal programming language called a Tdictionary. Now, Tdictionaries consist of two different things, a key and a value pair, okay? So that is to say that since we, here, if you scroll up, since we have the client ID as a cardinal, this could be like the identification for a person, for a client, right? And then the form of this remote task manager is actually T form 4. So we could use a Tdictionary, and we could potentially have that Tdictionary created with the key and value pair of this as the key for the person that we want to talk to using that cloned form, and T form 4 as the value for the pair. So here, let me just kind of write this out slowly, and you guys will get it. Okay, remote task manager forms. So these will be the cloned forms. Will be a Tdictionary, and it'll be of type. The key value pairs will be a cardinal and the cloned form that we'd like to clone, which will be T form 4. You get it? So now that we have this, and this is saying undeclared identifier Tdictionary. So if you get this, what you have to do to fix it is add generics.collections. So generics generics.collections, okay? Because the Tdictionary class is part of the generics collection stuff. So that fixes it. Okay, great, fantastic. So now we're going to have the ability to basically clone that stuff when we create it. So let's go to the pop-up menu where we actually select what we're going to do with this particular individual or client or whatever you want to call them. And we're going to go to our Task Manager button click, our menu. So double click that. And once we're in the code, you can close this little window, get it out of your way. This is where we're going to do our programming, okay? So like what we'll have to do is essentially just lock on to that specific individual, and we will have to try to get their ID from the item that we currently have selected, and then we're going to clone the form and assign it just to them. We're going to bring it to the front where we can see it. We're going to be able to, you know, have it assigned to them. So let's go ahead and do this. So basically, you want to create some variables. Current client is a string. Okay, this is the current client that we're messing with, or we're going to mess with. But we also need the current client ID, which is a cardinal. Okay, I probably misspelled that there. And so now we have the remote task manager form, T form 4, that we're going to be cloning. Okay, follow me so far, guys? So pretty simple, not hard to understand. We have a string, a cardinal, and a form that we're going to clone. And these are the appropriate variables for doing that. Okay? So guys, let's go ahead and get started on the programming here. In between the begin and the end, we're going to make this magic happen, right? So we are going to say that, first of all, if you did not have anyone selected, we do nothing. So if you're not going to select anybody, or you don't have anyone properly selected in the list view, and what I mean by that is this right here, if you're not selecting someone to control, then we're not going to do anything, okay? So if self.listview1.selected equals nil, then exit. So now we're going to get the client ID of the selected client on our list view. So we're going to pull out the client ID from the current item that we have currently selected here. So let's do that. So to do that, we'll say that the current client is equivalent to a pointer string, and that pointer string is listview1 dot items. Actually, we'll just do dot selected. data, just like that. And it is a caret pointer because it is a pointer to that string. So now we have the client that we selected inside of our current client variable. We pointer string to that and we pull it. So now the pointer string to that data now becomes current client. So now current client holds the client's thing. So it's their ID, right? Follow me so far, guys? So the current client ID, so the current client ID, we're going to typecast from string to a cardinal, to an integer, if you will. String to int, and it's going to be current client. That's the only reason we created both of these. And we don't really have to create both, just so you, in case you're wondering. It's kind of pointless, but we're going to do it. I'm just trying to visualize this for you guys, okay? So now that we've got that, we have to, I have to think ahead. So really think in your mind, like, if you're in the middle of controlling 5,000 clients and you already have a form open for this particular person or client, we must ensure that we do not already have a cloned form open. So what we'll do is we will do a checksum, just a little loop check real quick. We'll say, we don't even have to loop. We'll say if remote task manager forms dot try get value. So we're going to try to get the value of the current client ID and the remote task manager form. So if we find that we already have a clone form open, then we can do something, okay? So we'll just put begin. So we'll do if it already exists, then just bring it to the front and set focus to it so the user can do stuff with it. Whatever, right? So, so basically, since we already have it, we'll just do remote task manager form.show, and we will say remote task manager form.bring to front. Okay, great, fantastic. So we'll come down here, and then we're going to do an else, and we'll do another begin statement here. Let's do Control D. So if we already have a cloned form of this with this person, then we're just going to bring it to the front. Otherwise, we're going to have to do the creation of one. Okay, so we're going to create a remote task manager form for this specific client. Then set the client ID on the form, on the cloned form. And then we're going to try to do something a little different here. We're gonna put store the reference to this client and form into the Tdictionary that we created. So we're going to set that up, and then we're going to set up the task manager form. So set up the basics for the task manager form, and then we will show the form, and then we can go ahead, and the last part, I guess, after we've cloned the form, we can go ahead and automatically request that the client send us their information. So we could do send a command over to the client asking them for a complete list of Windows processes. Like that, okay? So this kind of helps me program too, because it gives me a little roadmap. So basically, the first thing we want to do is create the task manager form for this specific client, okay? So to do this, we can just simply say remote task manager form is equivalent to tform4.create. We're going to create application. So That's done. We've cloned the form, basically. And then we're going to set the client ID of that form. So remote, here, I'll tell you what, I'm getting a little tired of typing this whole thing out. We'll just copy this, paste, and I may have to also paste, just in case we have to do this, because we're pretty much calling the same damn thing every time we mess with it. So we're going to say dot client ID, which I have to go put in there, equals the current client ID. So, okay, you'll notice this is red. That's because I haven't globally made this in the other form. So let's go to the task manager form, this one here, the one we're going to be cloning. Let's give it a public declaration of client ID as a cardinal, okay? So now this should be just fine. So now that we've done that, we've cloned the form. We've assigned their client ID into that form. That way we can have the form look at its own client ID to be able to communicate back and forth between the client and the server. And then for this, we're going to have to add the reference to the stuff. So we have to add this reference because we've cloned the form, we have set the client ID, and now we have to put a reference in our Tdictionary so we can keep up with it, with all of our cloned sessions of this form, right? So I'm just going to put, let's just do dot add. Here we'll do, it'll be a little different on this one, guys. It's going to be remote task manager forms dot add. And we're going to add the current client ID with this remote task manager form, like so. Okay, so that's done. Now we have to set up the basics for this. So we're going to do dot caption of the form will be equal to task manager, and we'll put a hyphen, client, and then plus user, we'll put current client, like that. Okay, just like that. And this will be great, because now we can actually, when the cloned form pops up, it'll have task manager, client, and then the client's actual ID, which will be pretty cool, right? So now we have to show the form. So show the form. And now we have to send a command to that client asking him or her to send over all their process information, right? So we'll do send to single client, the client's ID, which is the current client ID, bytes of, and there you have it. So let's do get task manager, and we'll just leave it at that. This will be a command, okay? So we'll have get task manager, and that will, when they receive that, we'll make them loop through everything and grab all their process information and go boom, 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 and send it over to us, okay? Just like, all right, so, all right, so basically that's it. That's pretty much it, okay? So that part's done. Hell to the fuck yeah. So all we have to do at this point is we do want to kind of think ahead a little bit. So we're able to clone, we're able to do all this really cool stuff, but we also need to think ahead because I don't think we've actually created the Tdictionary itself. So we're going to have to go to the form creation event procedure. So let's go over to form create. This is form create. And we are going to have to create underneath this, because this will be more variables that we need for startup. So remote task manager forms, these are the cloned forms, dictionary, has to become equal to creating a Tdictionary with a cardinal value as well as tform4 dot create. So now we have the ability, every time we call this wording, we're actually adding to that created Tdictionary, okay? So now that would be about that. That's pretty much it on that. Now there is another thing when the form gets destroyed. So if you run this and you were to click the close button, that's going to be on close or destroy. We want to go to destroy. So like the destructor for this form. So on destroy, we're going to have to loop any possible cloned forms that have been created in memory. I'm thinking ahead, guys, because like if we leave them on there, is it professional to do this? No, it really wouldn't be professional. We want to make sure to do this professionally. So client ID is a cardinal, and this will be task manager form, which is a T form here. T form 4, okay? Now we're gonna just do a very basic loop. We need to free all the task manager cloned forms just in case. It's called memory management. Yay, smileys. So what we got to do is say for client ID in, and I'm going to delete this trash out because we don't need it. So so for each client ID inside of the remote task manager forms dot keys, do begin. If remote task manager forms dot try get value, client ID task manager forms. So if we are trying to get the value of the current client ID in the task manager forms, then that means that if we find it, we have to free it, okay? So let's get rid of the S at the end. It's just task manager form. So it's for each cloned form. We're looking for this client ID in each cloned form. If we find it, that means it's going to have to be cleared out of memory. So we're going to say begin. Then we're going to say task manager form dot free, not free notification, just free, like that. Okay, so now that we've done this, we have control D. Let me get this looking kind of pretty for you guys. Let's come down out of this loop and break out of it here, because we're not done. Now we've freed the form, okay, but now we have to free the dictionary. So we're freeing the dictionary at this point, which is remote task manager forms.free. Now free all other resources. So we're going to free the connected users, and we're going to free the T-critical section, which I wrote earlier. Connected users lock. Free. Should be good to go. Okie dokie. This is just me being paranoid, okay? I just want to make sure that if the form gets closed for any reason, everything gets handled appropriately in memory. We're literally freeing everything, okay? In an appropriate fashion, all right? That's all that is there for, okay, guys? Now, if you'll notice, the rat was still functioning even before I didn't even have these in here, and it was still functioning just fine. So, you know, it's just in case, okay, boys? It's just in case. Be professional, right? Okie dokie. Now, here's something else we need to worry about. What if we have people connected in, and we are controlling them, and we have multiple forms open, like multiple cloned forms? Well, what happens when that person disconnects? Uh-oh, we got more coding to do, boys. Got to go to disconnected event procedure. So if someone does disconnect and the socket detects a disconnect, then we're going to have to free that memory for that specific user on the spot when they disconnect, okay? So what we'll do is we will have to loop and find the person that disconnected, for the most part. So we'll have to figure out who disconnected first off. That's our first, second, third, fourth, and fifth concern is who disconnected, right? So we're going to find who disconnected, and then we are going to free that one specific form, okay? So let's go ahead and see about doing this here. So see how I've done for I equals 0, users count 1 minus blah, blah, blah. Looks like we're already looping through this because we've already added the ability to remove people from the list view. So the logic that I was just kind of talking about, it's really already done. So all we have to do is just add, we need to close and free anything that deals with the cloned forms, right? So let's look through this real quick and see if we can figure out some sort of a way to do that within the confines of our already created loop, okay? So we have the objects I, we're getting our user data's line. We're saying that the client ID is equal to this, user data.free. We're getting the connection connected users, delete I, get them off of there, break out of the loop. Then we're doing another loop, which deletes them from the list view, blah, blah, blah. We shouldn't have to do that here. So we'll just go ahead and stick to this up here. So let's try to add another, let's just add another variable, I suppose. We'll call this one, we'll have to add it for a cardinal. Client ID card, we'll just call it card for cardinal. And that'll be that. So now we have a client ID card, which is a cardinal. So inside of this loop, we're going to go ahead and get the client ID, and then after that, let's go ahead and convert this to a cardinal using that one that I just created. So client ID card becomes equivalent to user data dot client ID, which is a cardinal already. Okay, so now we have that kind of in place where we can mess with it. And before we do any amount of freeing here, let's put this down a bit, and we're gonna say, this is a comment, I'm just gonna write this in so we know what we're doing. We'll close and close and free any possible clone forms dealing directly with this client connection. Okay, so we'll say if form1 dot remote task manager forms dot try get value of the client ID cardinal of the person we're looking for, task manager form, the cloned form that we're looking for them on, right? So this will be, here, I may have misspelled this. Hang on a sec here, guys. Yeah, you got to put it up here. Okay, so basically, let me pop up here. You see how we put the remote IP here? We need another variable so we can declare that clone form. So here, let me just copy this and put it right there. And that is going to be a T. Oh, shit. I got my mouse right in the way so you guys can't see what I'm doing. It's a T form 4 declaration. Okay. So for all intents and purposes, this is kind of like a uses statement for that form. Okay. So anytime we call that, it's the same as calling that unit. So I'm saying look for that person on a clone form, T form 4. If it finds it, if it does find a person, the client that disconnected, and then they have a clone forms open, then we're going to do some stuff. We're going to have to free them, right? So we'll say begin, and we're going to do some stuff in between the begin and the end. So task manager form dot close. First of all, we're going to close the form that they were cloned on with, and then we're going to have to remove them from the dictionary. Form1 dot remote task manager forms dot remove, and it's a constant key, which is going to be the key, which is the cardinal, which is the client's ID. Okay, client ID card, just like that. So now they are removed. Not only did we close and free up the cloned form, because when we close a cloned form, we're also going to write logic on that cloned form to clean itself up out of RAM as well. So we're just going to leave this as we're closing it out and we're removing them from the Tdictionary. Okay, so we're freeing up all memory with this guy. Okay, And that's it, guys. That's totally it. So then these three can execute, and we can break out and loop all down here, and everything's great, right? Okay, fantastic. So for this point, let's give it just a really quick run. We'll see what happens. See if we get any errors or anything. So here's the client. Here's the server. And let's just see what happens when we try to listen on that. So there's the client open. Looks like we get a connection, blah, blah, blah. We right click, we go task manager. Oh, wow, look at that. Check it out, boys. See how it says task manager, client number, blah, blah, blah. That's the person you got. Right click again, task manager. Oh, look, it just selected it. See, look, if I highlight, see how, like if you select it, it lights up. See that? So right now it's not focused. So if I right click on this person and go task manager, boom, it just goes right back to the cloned task manager form that we have cloned for that person. See? So what happens if we close this form? Actually, right now it will error probably. So let me go ahead and finish up everything real fast, because on the cloned form we do have to free memory. Okay. So we can't just let it sit there and linger. So let's go ahead and pop on over to the cloned form, okay? And this will be the cloned form, okay? And we are going to, let's look at the on form close event procedure. So when this form gets closed, so you're saying that if you're the user, so if you close this task manager for this client, if you click the close button, then we're going to go to the on close event procedure, and we're going to say form 1 dot. Okay, so I don't actually have form 1 in the uses just yet, so we're going to go to implementation here, and we're going to have to include it. So we'll say uses unit 1, which is the same as saying it uses form 1. Now we can call all the stuff on form 1. And I'm going to say form 1 dot remote task manager forms, which is the Tdictionary, right? Remove, and then we're going to go self dot client ID, which is a cardinal, okay? And if you'll notice the self.client ID, that means this one. And it should be assigned in RAM, because remember, when we create them using this menu, when we click on Task Manager here, we're saying set its, let's see, where did we put that? Right here. We're saying the Remote Task Manager Forms client ID becomes the current client ID that we clicked on, okay? So we're assigning this in memory. And here we're saying remove that from the Tdictionary of form 1, so we're properly removing it. Now we're not done yet, because we also have to free the memory of this form. So action is equal to CA free. Done. So now we freed all the memory from this form once it's closed. Perfect. And we removed ourselves from the Tdictionary as well. Perfect. Amazing. So now then, that's pretty much it. That will actually fix that problem. And another thing we want to do, guys, is I'm going to show you something. So let me go to project options. I want to show you, this is very important actually. Now the way I have this written, it may actually work both ways. In fact, I think it will, but just in case, we're going to go to forms. And you see how these are all auto-created forms? Like, see how it's auto-create forms? Okay, so form 1 is the rat itself, like the thing you open up and you see all the clients connecting in on, you know, that thing. But we're messing with like form 4, and we want it to be a clonable form, not a created form. So I'm going to swap this over to available forms, okay? So now we should be able to clone multiple of them rather than just having one. Because if it auto creates and we're calling it and messing with it, it's not going to look pretty. We're going to get a lot of access violations and just a bunch of terrible stuff. So I'm going to hit save. So just keep this in mind, guys. Make sure you click on project options, tools options, whatever. Get here, go to forms and look for auto create forms and available forms. Any clonable forms you want to be able to clone, you need to put them in the available forms list, not the auto create forms list. Clonable on the right, non-clonable on the left. Got it? Hit save. So now then, we can give this somewhat of a proper run. So I'm going to run the rat, okay? And bingo, we're going to listen on that port, and we're going to run the client now. So here is the client, and I'm going to wait. Okay, good. We got the client. I'm going to right-click and go Task Manager. And now we have this window open. and we should be able to right click task manager and it focuses on it. But what if the person, we'll say, what if I close this out and then right click task manager? Okay, looks good, looks like it's working like a charm, boys. So this is great. But what if the person, wherever they happen to be in the world, what if they turn their computer off? Or what if their internet goes down? Or what if the socket connection somehow loses connection in any other way? Firewall, unexpected stuff, whatever. If they disconnect, turn off their PC, whatever. If they go bye-bye, then it goes bye-bye. See? Perfect. Perfection. So that's great. We're doing great so far, guys. Just hang with me a little bit more, because we're going to now program the Remote Task Manager into our actual program, into our RAT. So essentially what we can do, and by the way, I actually fixed some of these components so that we can start using them. So let's look at this software here. This is a tprocess info component. So we can drag and drop this, and as you can see, it's process info. So I'm going to leave it deactivated, but I just want to show you guys something cool. If you activate this component, you can see that it has a component caption, and it has the objects index count of up to however many services or executables you have running on your system. So basically, for all intents and purposes, this is a task manager component. So if you activate it on someone's computer, you can make it loop from the object index of 1 to the object's count, and every time it changes, see, I'll look at number 2, 50, see how I changed that, 20, 33, 85. See how the 85th process that's currently running on my computer is RT odd U service 64. You see that? And you can have process properties, so you can see its caption, command line, blah 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 blah. All the information regarding this thing, this process, is just right here for the taking, and it's literally like practically a single line of code. How easy is that, guys? Amazing. So there you have it. So now that we have this, we're going to do a little programming to make it work. So the first thing we want to do, let's go ahead and make a command structure. So we really already have our command structure, but I'm going to show you guys how to send to it. So whenever we click onto this menu and we click on Task Manager, you see how what we're doing here is we're creating the cloned form, and then we're doing Get Task Manager here. So now we have to go to the client where we're going to be receiving that command, okay? So let's throw that command here, Get Task Manager. Now we're going to have to write us something up to be able to get that Task Manager stuff, the information to send, back over. So to do that, we really need to make another procedure here, and we're going to just call it, let's just call it send. We'll do send process list, like that. Now it's going to be red because I haven't programmed it yet, but we're going to go up in the code and we're going to write this out. Okay, so we're going to actually we're going to go up and we're going to figure out how to program this in. So let's go to the top of our code. We need to make a declaration here. Okay, so in order to do that, we got to go where our privates are, right here, and we're going to add a procedure called send process list. Now we're going to go down into the code and we're going to add it in. So down here, we'll just do right here, for example. So we'll do procedure, and it will be send process list. Okay. So now we're going to have to declare quite a few things here, because if you remember, if you look at the RAT, if you go back and you see that we have these things like process name, ID, status, username, CPU, memory, UAC status, description, blah 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 blah, all that crap, right? So back on the client, let's go ahead and I'll do this in a very visual way. Normally I wouldn't declare any variables at all. I would just send it all over in a one line of code, but because this is educational, I'm going to have to make it visual for you guys, so I'm going to have to suffer for it. So basically, we need an integer for localized looping, and that can't be helped. We have to loop through processes, right? The PID is going to be a D word, because we're messing with Windows API, and that's what it is, a D word. And then we're going to do process name, and the rest of these are just strings, guys. So we'll just call it process status. Here, just do process status string, and then we'll do process user string, and then process CPU string. So we got the CPU, memory, UAC, and description, I think, is what comes next. So process memory string, process, what was it again, UAC? I think that's it. And then process description string. So that's pretty much that. That's it. So these are going to be the things we're grabbing and we're throwing back to our rat. You see what I'm trying to get at, guys? Super basic shit, right? So what we're going to do here is we're going to say reset or refresh the component to grab all client's Windows processes. So we'll say self dot process, we'll do form one dot process info one dot active equals false, and then self dot, well, we'll do form one dot process info dot active colon equals true. We just basically turned the component off and turned it right back on so it refreshes and gives us all the stuff, right? So now we're ready to enter into our loop. We're going to loop through all the processes on the computer and send them boom, 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 right over to our rat right there. Got it? All right, guys, so let's get started on the looping process here. So we shall say for I is equal to, now, okay, guys, in computing, computers count from 0. However, in this particular case, we're going to kind of get screwed over a bit. The person responsible for writing this, I don't know if it's part of the GLIBWMI itself or why they did this, but this component and every other component in these two tabs here, the GLIBWMI hardware and software, they do not count from 0. They count from 1, which I think is absolutely ridiculously dumb as shit, but whatever. So we're going to count from 1, not 0, okay? Which means there'll be no point in putting blah, 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 something minus 1. That's not going to happen. Instead, we're going to an actual fixed integer value. So we're going to loop from process number 1, which sounds weird as shit, but whatever. Process number 1 to a literal value of the entire count of processes that are currently on. And if you'll notice, if I activate this, you would say the object count is the total number of processes that are actually running on your Windows machine. So it stands to reason that all you have to do is say form 1 dot process info 1 dot objects count. And that's it. It's a literal. So we'll just do that. Begin. So guys, we are inside the loop. We are literally looping through every single process right now. So all we have to do is say, we need to properly handle this. So if we think about it, this is probably going to be something. Okay, guys, I'll tell you what. We want to be careful because what if you sent a command to the person or the client or whatever you want to call them, and they were looping through this like boom, boom, boom. Say the person has a lot of stuff open and it's still looping through memory, but all of a sudden something bad happens. Like say we got a bad socket connection and like let's say that they were in the middle of turning their computer off, or maybe you turned yours off, or power outage, or maybe the socket just disconnects in some way, in some form or fashion, the socket disconnects and you're just totally screwed, right? So that would not be a very good deal, right? So let's put a little check in to make sure that the client is still active, okay? Just in case. If the form1.client socket, by the way, guys, the reason I'm saying the form1 stuff is I want to make sure that we're calling it directly from form1. We don't have to do this. It's kind of pointless in a way, but I'm just doing it because I know that down below I've done a lot of I've did some multi-threading stuff down in here. I just want to make sure that I'm actually locking onto the correct thing, okay? So that's just kind of a, just call it a superstition, if you will. So we're going to say if the client socket is active, okay? So in order to do this at all, we have to have a valid socket connection, okay? So we're going to say if the socket is active, which means it is connected, okay? We're going to do that. So we're inside of a new sort of thing now. So we're going to be looping through all the processes, but in the loop, we're making sure that if the client socket is still active for this send, then it's okay to proceed. And you bet your ass I wish to proceed. Just kidding, guys. Okay, so we're going to have to try to say something along the lines of we're going to have to lock on to the specific process. And in order to do that, we can just put form1 dot process info 1 dot I think it's object index. We're going to set that to the currently being looped over integer. So that should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, blah, 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 all the way down, you know, however many we got, right? So now we're going to get some basic information. So the PID, or the process ID, will be process info 1. See how, like, for some reason, guys, see how I didn't lock on properly right there? That tells me that this is not, we didn't include this as a tform1 thingy up here. So like this is send process list procedure, but it's not like actually tform1, and that's why we're having this problem. So now it should be fixed. And I made this mistake on purpose, FYI. I'm trying to teach you guys something. Did you see what happened there? You see how, like, the get computer name or whatever has tform1 in front of it? And see, look, if I double click this, you see how it highlights them all? If you don't do that, you can still work with stuff, but because you didn't attach this function and this procedure to that form, it has no idea of outside information. You kind of get that? See, now I can take this off and everything should technically still work. See, I don't have to do the tform1 there. See, again, guys, I told you, I'm going to try to make as many mistakes as I can as well to teach you stuff. So this is one of them. I hope you got what I just did there. See, up here in the private declarations of tforms1's class, we put send process list, get computer name is elevated, blah, 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 blah. And as long as you remember to put tform1 and the function or procedure's name here, you will always be able to call everything that exists and resides on the form itself. So, okay, back to our loop code. PID, the process ID. We're going to get the process's ID, and that is process info 1 dot process properties dot process ID. It's that simple, guys. You're done. Process name is going to be equal to process info 1 dot process properties dot name. Done. What comes next? We need our status. Since this, honestly, guys, I'm just going to hard code that. This is retarded. The actual process status should always be running. I'll see if it has like a thing in there, but honestly, everything on Windows should be running in the task manager. So we can put we could put like the same thing we did, process info one dot process properties dot let's say, see if we can look around and see if they have anything. Executable state, it's probably execution state and it's an integer. I'm not gonna mess with it. Let's just look around. OS name, creation class, blah 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 blah. Process ID, quota peak, status. Well, there's the status. I might be able to do this one. Here, I'll try it, guys. We can try that, just see what it does. But really, we should put running. That way, it's not. We don't have to fuck with it. But anyway, okay. So process. We've got the processes. We've got the process ID. We've got the process's name, the process's status. And see, guys, you see what I'm doing, right? Like I'm getting this, so we can throw it over and onto the rat, right? Okay, so where are we at? Process status. So that means we need the, let me go back to the rat real quick, boys. Yeah, we need status, user, CPU, memory, UAC status, and description. Okay, great. So we'll do it in that order. So process status and then process user. So process user, actually, yep, user is equal to process info one dot user. Get owner. It's probably get owner. Possibly. The guy that wrote this speaks like Italian or some shit. Like, I don't know what the fuck that is, but I can't read what it says. That's okay, boys. We'll just do this a better way. How about the process user will be equivalent to system. And then we'll say if the PID by mod of 3 is equal to 0, then we can put process user is going to be equivalent to a local service, like that. Else if, and I'll put the PID by mod of 3 is equal to 1, then process user, we'll just put equals. And for this, guys, really what you want to do is get their local name here. We'll just put local user for now, but we need to grab their actual actual name, like their actual account name, to put on that. We can probably do it later with the same thing as that, so no worries, guys. So now that we have this this little kind of thing here, let's do Control D, make that look all pretty and nice. This goes to that, so we're going to keep adding. So we've got the process user. Now we need the CPU usage. Guys, I'm not going to really, I'll try here. What we'll do, process CPU is equal to process info one dot process properties dot, oops, didn't mean to type that, guys, dot CPU. There is no CPU on this one, so we'll do executable, no. Looks to me like this component doesn't actually have a way to do this. Hang on just a sec, guys. So yeah, guys, just for the process CPU, we can just put it at a 00 for now. We might code it in later, okay? So it'll just be a static 00 for no CPU usage for now. But we are going to get the memory usage. For this, we'll just do process memory is equivalent to int to str, which is an integer to string, process info one dot process properties dot working set size. That'll be an int 64. We're going to divide that by 1024 for a megabyte. kilobits, all that shit. We're gonna go plus, and we'll put a space and a K for the K, kilobits, kilobytes, all that shit. All right. So then we'll come down and we'll say whether or not the UAC status is based on the PID. So we'll just say the process UAC will be not allowed, and if the PID mod of 2 equals 1, then we will put that, let's see here, 2 equals 1. We can put that it's allowed at this point, because if it's equal to 1, then it'll be allowed to run as UAC. So we'll put, here, let me go back. I think I misspelled this. This is mod of 2. Jesus. Sorry about that, guys. Equals 1. Then the process UAC will then become equal to allowed. Just like so, okay? Now the last thing that we need is going to end up being the description. So we're going to say process descript. Jesus, if I can spell. The process description is going to be equal to process info 1.processProperties.description. Now, if the process description is equivalent to, here we'll do is equivalent to nothing. So we're going to check and make sure that the process's description is in fact equal to something, because if it's not equal to anything at all, we at least want to say process description is going to be application. We're just going to set it to application if there's nothing to report. Okay? That way it at least looks, like there's at least something there, right? So we will do, at this point, now that we've looped and we've gone through everything, we can now start sending that information back over to the server. In order to do this, we can just simply socket it right back over. So send the currently looped processes information back over to the server. So at this point, we'll say client socket dot execute command 0 for a parameter. Then we're going to say bytes of. Okay, and this is going to be add process with a pipe. And then we're going to start adding all the stuff that we just grabbed. Process name plus a pipe plus int to str PID plus a pipe plus whatever's next, which is going to be the process status. And then we will put a pipe plus the process user plus a pipe plus process CPU plus a pipe plus the process memory. I'm just looking above here, guys. You can just see me going through all this crap, right? So this is process memory. Process memory plus, I did not mean to do that. Process memory plus pipe plus the process UAC plus a pipe plus the process description. So that is that. And then we do not expect an async callback result. This is a non-blocking send, so we falsify it at the end. We don't need that parameter. Okay, great. So I'll do Control D, so it'll just all come down like it needs to. Okay, guys, that's pretty much it. So we grab all of this information. We'll reset the component to loop through all of the current processes on the client machine, the Windows installation. And then we just loop through everything, grab all of our information, and send it on over to the server. And we can come back later and fix this for real-time CPU stuff and all that later. But for now, this will be like perfectly fine for a template. And we got a lot more work to do, guys, because like I said, we've got to do audio capture, we've got to do all this, and we're probably going to add a lot more, right? So let's look for this command, okay? So add process. So this is going to be sent to the server, okay? So when we receive the handle command event for that, this is, for example, we have the TQ thread. This is for the new con. We need to do this same thing, but we need to do it with this command coming from the client for add process. So let me walk you through it real fast. Basically, when we click on the person to open up Task Manager on them, we're going to clone the form and we're going to send to them, hey, give me a list of all your processes. The person will get that command, and when they get that command right here, get Task Manager, they're going to send the process list from their computer over to us, right? So that's what we just wrote all here in this procedure. They're going to reset their component so it can list out all their processes. It's going to loop through everything. It's going to then send everything over to us one by one. This happens rapidly quick. Boom, 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 like that, right? And it's sending each different process on a different line. Now, are there better ways of doing this? Yes, but this is for educational purposes, so I'm just going to leave it as is. But what you could do is loop them all, put them all into a memory stream and send them all over in one line of code, rather than looping like this over and over and over and over and over and sending each one by one. But we're not going to worry about that because we're testing on localhost. It's really not a big deal. So we're going to add process. This comes all the way back to the server side, where we're going to have to receive that command, check for the cloned form belonging to the person that sent it, that command, I mean, and then we're going to have to add all of their stuff that they sent to us in this remote task manager thingy right here. Then we have to start programming the kill process portion, where we're going to actually be able to send a command to them to kill a specific process that we've selected here, right? And honestly, guys, I don't like the way this is looking. Let's change this ID one to PID. That way it's process ID, okay? Looks a little better that way, right? So back over here on the socket, on the event of handle command, we've received something here, and this is going to be it. So we're going to have to basically create another handler for this. So like right here, we're handling the new connection, and it goes all the way to this, right? So we're going to make a new one of these to be able to handle the receiving of all of these things, right? The process list. So to do that, we're going to make a new handler, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So let's go ahead and do that. So down here, we're going to erase this particular one, and we're going to say else if params 0 is equal to the add process, then we can again, and we're gonna do this right here. So we will do an inline variable and just say for variable I, let's go ahead and do it like this. So we'll do for variable I is going to be equal to 0. We'll do we'll simply do it like this. We'll just do a simple loop from 0 to the connected user count, if you will. So it's going to be equivalent to 0 to, oops, hang on guys, hang on just a second here guys. Stuff's all messing up on me. 0 to, and we're going to put this to form 1 dot connected users dot count minus 1. So for all of the connected users, we're going to do some stuff here, okay? We're going to say begin, and we're going to put the client ID is equivalent to user data dot client ID. Then we're going to say if form1 dot remote task manager forms dot try get value, because we're looking for a cloned form with this person in there, right? Client ID task manager forms of the cloned form. I'm sorry, rather. Then we will come down and we will say begin again. Control D. So we're going to say that this client ID, and by the way, guys, just so you'll know, the client ID portion here is red. That's because we have not, unfortunately, put a localized variable for this here. So we're going to have to do this. Client ID is a string. This will just help us out with this this error down here for now. So the client ID is equal to user data dot client ID. However, this is supposed to be a cardinal. So let's pop back up here and make this a cardinal. That way it will properly help us out. Okay, so this will be task manager form. So again, this right here, we're going to have to make a variable for this one as well locally. So let's do that. So this is going to be, let's copy that down. And I do believe that this will actually be of type tform4. So there we have it. So this will be try to get value of the client ID on that cloned form. If it does find that there is a person with that client ID on that cloned form, then we're going to do something in there. So we're going to put, let's put, how are we going to handle this, boys? If we find it, then we're going to shove in all of that information. So we're going to have to queue this up. So let's make a queue, okay? Nil and that. So now let's do like this, and we are going to make variable, and we're going to do li is a t list item, because remember, guys, we have to make the t list item in order to throw it onto this list view. Okay, so we're creating a list item, okay, and we are going to now begin and end. Perfect. So now we have the structure for a multi-threaded kind of thing here, a queued up thread, if you will. So what we will do is at this point, we're going to say begin, and don't mind the whole red stuff here, guys. We'll fix it in just a sec. We forgot to put the procedure in, so let's just do procedure like that, and it should fix it, I hope. Yeah, that's good. So now we have a procedure with a variable list item. Now we can start programming, okay? And this is super basic stuff, guys. All we're going to say is if the length of params, like that, if the length of params is greater than 7, then we're going to, again, doing something. Li will be equivalent to task manager form dot list view one dot items dot add. So every time we call this, we're going to be adding a new item, right? And I think I misspelled length. There you go. Much better. Okay, so now we're going to say li.caption is equivalent to params1, li.subitems.add, and then this will be params2. So guys, for this, we're just going to copy this, and this should go all the way to 8. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 8. Okay, great. And now you guys get this, right? Like this is like, for example, this is the process name, right? And then this one is the process ID, and then this one is the status. Okay, I'm going to stop at that. We'll do the last one, but you guys get it. This is the description of the exe/process. So, you know, all the stuff that we sent over and received is all the same stuff that resides on this list view. Process name, PID, blah, 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 blah. You get it. Okay, so that's that. Now, down here, whenever we did the LI creation, so let's look here. Let me Control D this real quick. So where we do this, the LI creation, the begin comes all the way down to the end of the TQ'd thread, right? And then we have this to end right here. So we want to break out of that right there, okay? Because there's no point in going past any further. So this will be how we receive all of the information, okay? And that's it. So at this point, we can try to give it a quick run. But honestly, guys, I would like to take it a step further just real fast. So on this form, we have a task pop-up thing here. I'm going to actually do a refresh real quick. So here, let me show you. We're going to add in both refresh and kill process before we even run the test, okay? So refresh process list. So we're going to double click this. Now, the first thing we have to do, 2 steps. Clear the list of processes and ask for a new list of processes. So self.listview1.clear, and now ask the client for a new updated list of processes. So for this, basically, it would be form one dot send to single client self.client ID bytes of, and then we can send something right there. Now, if we go back to unit 1, you'll notice that when we click on this, we can get that command from right here, get task manager. So just paste that in right there with a pipe and you're done. That's literally finished. So that one's done. And then we want to do something to be able to kill out processes, right? So we're going to have to work just a little bit with the Windows API call stuff here. So let's go back to the client and let's program a way to receive a command to be able to kill a currently looked at process. We're going to kill a process by its PID, okay? That's basically what we're going to do. So we can just simply go down here to the, we'll just do like, we're not going to make this a private or anything like that. We'll just do a basic function here. We'll just go function and kill process by PID, and this will be process ID, which is a D word, and then it'll be Boolean, so it'll actually come out true or false, whether or not it was successful in killing it. So we'll do variable begin end. All right. So this, honestly, guys, let's actually do this though. Let's take this thing and let's do function, and we'll do like this. Let's see what this is, unsatisfied or forward. That's going to be because we didn't do tform1 dot. So now that we have that properly added, we can add some variables that we're going to have. So we're going to need a process handle to be able to actually have a handle on the current process that we're trying to mess with. In this case, we're attempting to open that process and terminate it, okay? So what we'll do is we'll call this hProcess, which is going to be a handle to that process, okay? It's a T handle in Delphi. So in Pascal code, it's a T handle. It's just Windows API is basically all we're doing. We're going to set the result to false to start with. And then we're going to open the process up with the Win API call process, and we'll do terminate like that. And this is like an access right. So hProcess equals open process and then we'll do process terminate false for the inheritable handle and the process ID. That's process ID, just like that. Okay, so this will open it up and terminate it. Then we're going to check it. So we're going to say if h process is not nil or 0, then we can do try, and we're going to do the go ahead and attempt to terminate it here. We'll do attempt to terminate. So we'll say result will be equivalent to terminate process of our h process handle 0 for the exit code. Now we're going to finally, after all this is said and done, we're going to ensure that we close our active handle. So we're going to say close handle h process. Okay, Control D, that's great. So now we can actually kill a process by its ID. Great, wonderful. So what we can do is come back over to the rat. So just follow with me here, guys. Back over to our task manager, double click this, kill process, right? So copy this and paste it here. And we can basically just kind of make up our own little command for this. Honestly, we'll just do kill process. Let's make it super simple. So kill process, and it'll be kill process with a pipe. That's it. That's the command to kill the current process. However, we do need to append the process ID that we want to kill. So that'll be the one that we select, and it's the first parameter here, which is PID. But sub items, it'll be sub items number 0, because this is a caption. So let's say that it's self.listview1. Here, I'll even do it like this. Listview1 dot selected dot sub items 0, and that's that. So that is that. We're done. Literally, that is literally it. So on the client, we have to come down, and where we do like all this stuff, you see how we did like down here, how we've got whatever command we want right here, how we made this again. So this will be this command. So we want to do here, let's erase that out, and it'll be the same exact command that we just did, right? Which that is kill process. So if the command is kill process, then begin blah. We have to do something here, guys. So up here, we're going to do kill process, right? So kill process by PID. We're going to call this function in order to be able to do this. So if the command is kill process, we're going to kill process by PID. And it's asking, what is the process ID you wish to kill? Well, that's going to be SL1. And that's it. But because the string list is a string in the list, it has to be you see how like we wrote this procedure up here? We wrote this procedure to kill the process PID by a dword. Dword is basically essentially an unsigned 32-bit integer or something like that, I believe. So we have to put like an int to string typecast. So we'll put int to str, and we will typecast that to that. I'm sorry, string to int. I don't know what I've been smoking this morning. So there you go. That will be it. So let's save that, and let's see if this thing works. So go ahead and run the client, see if we get any errors. Looks like we wrote it all good. Let's go to the rat and run the rat. Okay, so here we go. Let's go ahead and start actively listening, and we're going to get our connection. There's our connection. We're going to click on this, and we're going to right-click Task Manager. Okay, looks like it didn't actually come through, so I don't think that we did something correct. We probably mistyped something or whatever. So I will just go and look at the code and make sure I didn't mistype a command on both sides, because I probably did. Give me just a second here, boys. Yeah, guys, that is literally exactly what I did. I just kind of looked through it, and it was misspelling. So basically, here's what we're going to do. Let me go ahead and try to rerun this. So let's just do that. Let's go ahead and rerun it and see what happens. So here's the rat. and we're going to listen on a port, and we're going to go ahead and run the client. And once this comes through, wait for the connection, and the task manager is complete. Amazing. So there you have it. There's that. For this, you can right click, you can refresh. So if I click this, it will refresh the list from the opposing endpoint, the client. And you can right click and kill things. Now I'm going to just to be safe, this is my computer. I don't want to screw around, so I'll just open a notepad, type some stuff in there, and then I will refresh the list. And we can basically just go and look around for the notepad thing here. So we'll look for notepad right here. So I found notepad at the bottom. So what we can do is I will make this kind of a bit smaller so we can see what we're doing here. But I will kill this process. So I right click on notepad and kill it. And as you can see, it works. Now we can refresh and you'll see that notepad is not on there. Now, if you'd like, you can also make it automated. So you can actually send these in real time. That way you're not having to mess around with stuff like that. So if you killed something, it would automatically delete it and then refresh the list as well. So yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. This has been this video session. So you've learned how to clone task manager forms, or well, clone any form really. And you've also learned how to send data to and from the client and server and get them communicating. Pretty cool stuff, right? So this has just been super basic. In the next one, we're going to get the desktop imagery, I believe. And then we're going to also get some client information so we can see what's up on their computer, right? So again, I'll refresh this just to show you guys. Pretty cool stuff, right? And then you can go down and look through all the stuff, and it has the descriptions. It looks like this is good because I am running RustDesk, so that's good. My local service, yep, it is a service. Yep, so wow, it is correct. So yeah, this is great. All right, so then I'll also show you guys if, like I said before, if they close out or if they turn their computer off, works like a charm. So there you have it, boys. That's it. That is how you clone forms, and you're able now to have multiple clients connected in, and you're able to clone those forms and be able to control different clients at the same time by cloning those forms and assigning them their different socket IDs. So yeah, that's that. So like I said, next video we're going to work on desktop capturing imagery. We're going to look at the client info, and we're going to go ahead and dive into a little bit of the remote desktop stuff. Okay, I think that's what we'll do next. And then after that, my pathway is to maybe do some audio, and then maybe go to the webcam, maybe. I don't know. It just depends what kind of mood I'm in for teaching you guys that day. But then we'll move on and we'll try to get a bunch of different stuff going. We'll try to just do a whole bunch of stuff. So we have a long way to go. And again, guys, I just want to say that I really enjoy making these videos. I hope that you guys enjoy watching them. Again, I do over-explain a lot of shit. Basically, I do that because I feel I reach a wider array, like a variety of people by doing so. Because there's a lot of people out there that want to learn how to do this stuff. They're just not sure where to start. You know what I mean? So if they're watching my channel and they're seeing this for the first time, you know, it's probably not only blowing them away, but they're able to look at it and know that a human being is explaining it. So it becomes a lot more simplified when a human being can sit here and say, guys, this is really simple. It's not like some sort of brain surgery type stuff. I mean, this is very basic. And I mean, again, also on the client endpoint, like if you guys are confused at all about any of this stuff that I'm adding, like a handle, you guys can go to the MSDN website and read up all about process handles and everything. I mean, this is basic. This is as basic as it gets. And I mean, this I just kind of came up with this. I didn't, like, for this, just you use the TOS info version, which is, if you want to check it out, it's part of the Win API. So again, this is Windows API, every bit of it. So all I did was check the info size of the major version and the minor version, and depending on the major version and minor version, the major version would be like 5, 6, 10, and 11. The minor version would be like the case of how many are inside of that major version to determine which one it is. Like, it's super basic to detect. You know, this is probably one of the mostly used methods for retrieving Windows operating system. I mean, this is primitive as shit. I mean, you know, but I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, you know, you just get the major and minor versions and you just figure it out, you know, and I just typed in what they are, you know. I mean, you can make this whatever you'd like. Windows 2000, you can spell it out if you want. I mean, it doesn't matter. These are just strings. But I'm getting their version based off of the major and minor version of Microsoft Windows, using the Windows API to pull it. It's really simple stuff, guys. Like I say, every bit of this is super, super basic if you just break it down into little pieces and try to understand it. Like, for example, this get computer name right here. Okay, so a buffer, we're using a buffer, which is in this case an array of 0 to the max computer name length. This is actually part of the Windows API, and the maximum length is 15. You see that, guys? So you can hold down Control and click on these things to understand more about where they come from and the Pascal units that they were programmed in. These are the Windows API headers for Delphi. This whole file, it's massive. It's a huge, massive file. Look at all this. Like, the Embarcadero team and the people that have written Delphi over the past 50 years wrote all this. They just imported this stuff. You see, like, it's crazy. Embarcadero has translated all this into this language so that you can easily call all the Windows API related stuff within this language. All I'm doing is creating an array from 0 to the max computer name length, which is 15 of characters, so it can be a maximum of 15 characters. And the size is a D word. So what I'm saying is fill character from buffer to the size of buffer, 0. Size is equal to the maximum length, which is 15 plus 1, which means it's 16, right? So we have to fill with 1 extra, right? So I'm saying if the WinAPI Windows get computer name buffer to the size, which means we're going to copy the entire computer's name plus the 1 blank one at the end, basically, then the result will be a string of that buffer. So the result is a string of the copied name that we copied. Otherwise, the result is equal to unknown. See, it's super basic. If you just break it down into little chunks, you're going to get it. And that's like the most human way I can explain this, right? And the same thing goes with this is elevated thing. We're just doing this with token privileged stuff. So like you can do this with, this is all Windows API calls, just to find out if the currently running executable is truly elevated or not, based off of token information on this executable. So guys, again, you can research all of this for yourselves. It's super easy to understand. Most of it I acquired right off the MSDN website. I mean, literally, just go to the MSDN website from Microsoft, the Microsoft Developer Network, and you can read up about every single bit of this as if it's nothing at all. It's literally an open book. So I highly urge you to do that. When you're messing with Windows API related stuff like this, just go read the MSDN documentation. You guys are going to come out clean on the other side every time. I can just about guarantee it. Even though they don't have examples in Delphi, they generally have examples for C# and Visual Basic.NET and C++. C++ is extremely simple to convert into Delphi code. So because Delphi is also just as low level, if not even better lower than C and C++. Delphi and Pascal has been around 2 years longer than C. So anything and everything that C and C++ can do, just about Delphi can do it too, which is the beauty of it. So guys, I hope I've explained this well enough for you. Again, I'll run it one more final time here. We'll listen, we'll run the client, and the client is on. We're going to receive that connection, and there's our connection. We're going to right click and go to Task Manager. I received the Task Manager. there you have it, and we're able to click on things. We can kill processes, which I'm not going to do right now, but you get the point. You saw it work before. And then we can refresh the list, and we can receive all of the person's processes, and we can do stuff with them, right? So okay, that's it. So, and if they die out, we properly destroy cloned forms, free up memory, and remove them from the rat. Perfectly flawless victory. So there you go. Animality. All right, so that's that, guys. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video, where we're going to be doing a little bit of remote desktop, and get a little client info, and possibly start looking into other things like remote webcam, audio capture, that type of stuff. We're going to just go one by one, hopefully, for each video, so I can fully explain how it's done, and you guys can fully understand to the best of your ability. Alrighty, well, I'll catch you in the next video, boys. Peace out.